Hey, what's up, beat hackers? In this week's video, I'm going to be teaching you something that you don't have to learn, but for those of you who do learn it, it's going to make you so much more confident and so much better at DJing. It's unbelievable. You interested? Let's do it. Boof. Okay guys, so what I'm going to be teaching you in this video is how to hear when two tracks are going out of alignment with each other because they're slightly different speeds, and how to correct it without having to stare at your computer screen. So essentially what I'm kind of teaching you is beat matching by ear. Now, you don't have to learn how to do this. As we know, on the screen these days, it says the BPM right at the top here and here, and you can just adjust the two BPMs looking at the screen like that and get them perfect. And you don't have to know how to do this. But for those of you who put in the time and effort to practice this technique that I'm about to teach you now, it will literally jog you forward so many years of DJing. Because eventually, if you DJ long enough, you'll be good at this. But if you practice this now, you'll be amazed at how much better you get quickly. Because if you think about it, guys, DJing is all about transitioning one track to the next. Now, you can stand there like staring at your screen constantly and doing this kind of stuff and balancing it all by looking at the screen and looking at the BPM on the screen. But just think about how much more confident you would be if you were doing a blend and you were like, you're so involved in the DJ decks, you're not having to stare at that, so you know, oh, this track's going out of speed with this track and I can just jog that forward. Anyway, hope I've explained it. This is a very valuable skill to learn. Those of you who go ahead and practice this are going to get so much more confident. Let's get into it. So, now, to do this, you need two tracks that are just kind of like got a basic beat. So what you could do is go and get the intro of one kind of EDM track and an intro of another EDM track. However, I don't tend to do that. I tend to use kind of basic beat tracks. As you can see here, I've got one track on it with just a regular beat on. Sounds like this. And I've got another track over here that's just got like a hi-hat hitting at exactly the same speed. Now, of course, the reason I'm not using two beat tracks is because it would be very confusing to know which beat belonged to which track, which is why it's good to have one track with like a hi-hat, one track with a beat on it, something like that to practice. The other reason why it's better having these kind of tracks than actually using real tracks is one of the reasons I think most beginner DJs get so frustrated is if you go ahead and use like an intro of one track and an intro of another track, you've got to deal with all the other instruments and bass lines and melodies and vocals and everything that's going on. And all you really want to be doing is focusing on the actual beat. So whenever you're learning techniques like this, it's way better to actually just get your hands on some tracks like this. You want to get your hands on tracks like this, they come with all my courses. There's a link underneath this video. You can go through and it'll take you through to the bundles page. You can buy my beginner course, my intermediate, my advanced course, any courses you want. They all come with tracks like this. And I go way into more detail about this kind of stuff on those courses. Anyway, let's just get straight into it. So, what we've got is these two tracks, and as you can see on the screen, they're both 128 BPM. If I press play at exactly the same time, they'll go at the same time and they'll stay at the same time forever. Okay, but we're not worried about that. We're worried about what happens when one track is going slightly quicker than another track and you don't want to be staring at your screen. Not to mention, sometimes the computer program gets it wrong. So sometimes you'll be looking at it and you'll be like, I don't get it, they keep going out of sync, but they're the same speeds. This is when this technique will also come in handy. So, as you notice, got a bit of paper here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the tempo of the beat on track A off a bit, and you can kind of like actually cover it so you can't see where it's going to end, okay? And then just put it down over it so you can't see where that is. The next thing, close the computer screen because you don't want to be looking at the numbers either. We're going to make it difficult for ourselves. Now, we know that this track here is going to be going faster than this track over here, and it's down to us to try and work out how to do it. So, I'm going to start by pressing play on this track, coming over here and pressing play on track B so it's all in line to start with. And we're just going to listen to how aggressively this track goes out of sync, okay? Now, when we listen to it, because we know it's going to go out of sync, because this one's stuck to the same BPM and this one's been sped up a bit, what we're going to do is we're going to be using these half moons or full moon rotations of this disc to try and keep this track in line with this track, okay? So if I feel like it's really aggressively going out, I'll do a full moon rotation. If I think it's just going out by a little bit, I'll do a half moon rotation. And what will most likely happen is I'm going to have to be doing this all the time, okay? So this is the first thing I want to show you, is just me trying to keep this track in line with this track just by using the jog wheel. That's the first thing, okay? So let's give it a go. As you can see, I'm having to jog that wheel forward really aggressively. So I know that this track is slower than this track, so I'm having to move this track forward. So I come over here and I'm just going to budge this up by maybe 2, because that was quite aggressive, that. So I'm just going to bump it up by about here. Do the same thing. I'm going to listen to it and see whether I need to bump the track forward or back, or whether I need to do it by full moons or half moons. Now, what you may witness now that they're slightly closer together is I may make a mistake. And I may do like a full moon and realize, oh no, I've done it too much, and have to rewind a little bit. This is all part of the practice of just trying to keep this track in line with this track. And this is kind of what it's all about, okay? So let's give it another go. So they're closer, but I did have to still jog it forward. So this time I'm going to move it up a little bit more, maybe like a whole extra little spacing. So you can see there's these little spaces here. I just moved it up like a whole one. And let's do the same thing again. Okay, they're pretty close, okay? If I had to say, I'd probably say it was a little smidgen too slow, so I'd bump it up a little bit. But by the time you get to that point, you're in that good realm where actually it takes about 5-6 bars or so before you really have to do much. Now, if you get it to that stage, and as long as you're confident at kind of using this jog wheel, you're probably going to be okay. So at this point, I'm just going to go and look at how close we got it, okay? So let's open this up. So that's 38. We're actually quite far off. 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3. We were 5 off. Now I think if you're kind of within the 5 range, you're good to go. But let's give it another go and see if we can get any closer. This time though, I'm going to do less talking and I'm going to do it all in one motion. So I'm going to press play here. Let's just move this around a little bit more to about here. Don't know where it is. Going to do the same thing again. But this time I'm going to do everything I explained, but without really speaking much. So I'm going to press play, have a listen, jog it forward. If I feel like I'm having to jog it forward a lot, I'll bump it forward a bit, keep listening, jog it forward a lot, keep it going. And basically I'm going to try and keep it in line with this track constantly by juggling the jog wheel and moving the tempo slider, because that's the point you want to get to. You want to get to a point where it's like, right, I'm having to juggle it forward a lot here, so I need to bump up the speed. I'm having to push it back a bit, so I have to push back the speed, until you get to that sweet spot where it's like, I'm pretty sure I've got it. So let's give it a go. Okay, I think that's good enough. Let's have a quick look. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, we were 0.4 out. I'd have loved to have got it perfect for you guys right here, right now, but I guess I'm not perfect. But actually, it's probably good that you saw that, because you need to know that actually it doesn't have to be perfect. But the main thing that you're going to get good at here is just balancing this out. Once you've done this, you can maybe move on to some actual music, which has got actual intros with other instruments going on. So you can then hone in on getting good at this with the instruments playing. But to start, you just want to be practicing this basic skill of getting the two lined up, keeping them lined up with that jog wheel there, constantly staying on top of it so they're perfectly lined up, and then juggling that tempo bar over there. And the other thing to bear in mind, guys, is in this video, we've been bumping the BPM up by like 6, 7 BPM, like that much out. Now normally, you would never just chuck in a track that was 6 or 7 BPM out from the track you're playing and just wing it like we have here. That would be incredibly stressful. You'd normally just do it like 1 BPM out, and usually you'd be checking what the BPM is beforehand anyway. However, if you practice this to the extreme, think how easy it's going to be when it is just 1 BPM out or 0.5 BPM out, or for some reason Serato or your DJ software's got it wrong. You'll be absolutely at home at juggling the two. You see, like, the other thing that this skill kind of brings in is being able to listen to 2 tracks play at the same time, distinguish between one track and the other, and then be able to distinguish which of those tracks is going faster or slower to juggle it. It's quite a complicated thing, and it's not something that can just be explained and then that's it, you get it. It's one of these things that has to be practiced and practiced, and it's something you will pick up over time. However, the thing with these skills that you pick up over time is you can fast track those skills by putting a bit of practice in. So what I'd suggest is you guys go away and practice this 5-10 minutes a day for the next month, and see how much better you are at DJing after 1 month of practicing this. You'll be amazed at how much more comfortable you are and how much easier you can distinguish between 2 tracks. So definitely go ahead and do it. Finally, guys, I wanted to wrap up this video by saying that if you like the way I teach and you're interested in getting more confident on your DJ decks, I teach loads more about this subject in my intermediate DJ course, which you can go and check out. Underneath this video, there's a link to my bundles page. You can go and you can check out all my different courses there. If you're brand new to DJing, I've currently got some free DJ training on my website at beginnerdjlessons.com. Link underneath the video as well. And finally, I've recently launched a brand new online music school where I'm taking a select few people and teaching them everything they need to know over the next year about producing insane levels of EDM music. Now, if you're interested in that, even if you've never produced tracks before in your life, but you're interested in learning about it, I'm currently doing some free live training. So underneath this video, there'll be a link that says EDM coaching. Click on that link, you can go through and you can watch some free live training I am doing, teaching people all about making insane electronic dance music. Completely for free. Hopefully I'll see you there as well. Finally, I wanted to wrap up this video by saying if you like the video, give it a like. Leave a comment. I read all my comments. I've even started hearting a few of my comments now. So if you want me to heart one of your comments, leave it below. And I just wanted to completely wrap up this video by saying that if you like videos like this, make sure you hit this button here and subscribe to my channel for weekly videos. Hit the bell notification so you get told about new videos that are coming up. Click that button down there if you want to go and check out my free DJ training at beginnerdjlessons.com. And finally, hit that button below if you want to go and watch an amazing technique that will help you transition from any BPM track. Guys, I'll see you in next week's video.